So how long does it take to close on a house? That's what we're talking about today, and we're starting right now. Hi there, what is up? I'm Kathy Williams, residential realtor here in Orlando, Florida. And if this is your first time to my channel, welcome. I talk about the Orlando lifestyle and all things real estate. And if that is something that you're interested in, then go ahead and subscribe to my channel and click that bell. That way you won't miss out on any upcoming videos. So today I'm answering the burning question of how long does it take to close on a home? Well, there's a lot of different ways you can answer that question, starting with number one. If you've found the home of your dreams, you've put the offer in, the offer has been accepted, how long does it take to get from accepted offer to the closing table? The answer to that is about 30 to 45 days. Now, of course, that can be negotiated. You could have a little longer closing period if that's desirable for both buyer and seller. Everything is negotiable, but typically a lender can get a home closed within 30 to 45 days. Number two, the second question that comes to mind is how long does it take to close at the closing table? So that can be answered by saying if you are the seller, you should probably be at the closing table for no more than 30 to 45 minutes, an hour tops, because you have to just sign a few papers. You don't have to sign all the loan documents that a buyer has to sign. So the buyer is going to be at the closing table for about 2 hours. Plan on 2 hours, and it could take a little longer because a lot of times you want to wait around to make sure the bank has funded the loan before you leave in case there's any last document that they may want you to sign. Number three, when will I find out what my closing date is? This is a question that comes up a lot, and technically the closing date is the date on the contract, but sometimes on the contract we will put, for example, on or before December 1st. Well, that means the contract has to close by December 1st, but it could close a few days before if all parties agree to that. So let's say, for example, the lender gets your loan all completed by November 25th and they say, hey, we can close early if everybody wants to. And then if everyone agrees, you could close before the actual closing date of December 1st. But typically we stick to the closing date that's on the contract, and that's when you end up closing. Number four, well, how do you find out what time, and when do you find out what time on the closing date you're going to close? You can schedule your closing time, pretty much usually about a week out. You can get with the title company and say, hey, this is the best time of day for my schedule to go ahead and come in and sign the paperwork. And they'll work with you and get you on the calendar. So it is a good idea to go ahead and get that scheduled at least a week out. That way, it's not the day before closing and you don't get the time slot that you want because it's such a busy market right now. So I would say go ahead and schedule that about a week out. And the last thing I want to talk about is how long does it take to buy a home with cash? So typically, it's going to take 2 to 3 weeks with cash because there's really no lender involved. There's no different, things that the lender's requesting, like an appraisal. You don't have to get an appraisal. You'll still do your inspection period and you'll still want to get an inspection done on the house. But, you can close as soon as the title company gets all their documents done. So typically 2 to 3 weeks tops would be what you could close in with cash. If you have any other questions about closing times or how to get to the closing table or what does it take to get a house closed, go ahead and reach out to me. I'm happy to help you. And go ahead and watch this next video. I think you'll enjoy it. See you over there. Bye-bye now.